Hey, welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that's slowly turning into an Ichthian horror. My name's Avery.
And I'm... This week we watched Waterworld.
You sounded like an alpaca or a llama. Call back to the last episode. Ayo, HP Lovecraft month is in full effect.
No, these movies are in 2 different months.
The next cosmic horror that we're going to be watching is Sonic. That's right.
Aren't you Harley Quinn's movie?
Oh, yeah, whichever one that is. Harley Quinn and the Fantabulous Mr. Fox or whatever.
I actually really like Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I know a lot of people liked it. I haven't seen it. Or no, that's not true. I saw part of it. I just like... I don't like anthropomorphized animals, man. I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is.
They make me horny.
Oh, there you go, man. Then it's your kind of movie.
What's my fursona?
Let's not do this. Let's move on. Let's talk about some
Clearly,
movies.
I'm a frog.
Well, anyway, welcome to For the Story. We clearly talk about a lot of nothing, and we also talk about a lot of movies. And so we usually like to start it off loosey-goosey. Let's get some house cleaning out of the way.
Avery, we're out of Windex. You're going to have to run to the store. We'll get right back to house cleaning.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. See you next week, guys.
If you guys haven't already, go ahead and leave 5 stars on iTunes if you like what you hear. If you don't, that's okay too. I think we got our first 1-star review.
They didn't even leave a comment. Troll us. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what are you,
like
5?
At least tell us what we could do better, I guess.
Or even just cyberbully us. Like, put some effort in.
Yeah, come on. Some good old fashioned cyberbullying. That's really what the Apple Podcasts star rating system is for.
Yeah, to tell me my thighs look chunky.
Exactly. Your voice sounds fat.
Your voice sounds like it has a thyroid problem.
So go ahead. If you haven't already, go ahead and leave us a review. If not, that's cool too. Whatever. You can still listen. We like you less, but
you're definitely a rung below those cool 5-star guys.
You could also be in Team 4-star. Anyway, so we like to start off by talking about some movies that
the Fantastic 4 stars.
Ooh, that's good.
Thank you.
It's like a crack team of superheroes.
Yeah.
So we like to start off by talking about some other movies totally unrelated to the movie of the week, which this week was Dagon, which came out in 2001, directed by someone. I don't really know. Do you know? What is it?
Stuart Gordon is the guy who did Reanimator.
Really? I like Reanimator a lot, so that's cool. Okay, that's interesting. We'll talk about that. That actually changes up some of my points for a little bit later, but that's okay. So we usually like to talk about totally unrelated stuff that isn't that. Ash, did you watch any unique movies this week that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, okay. The first one I actually only watched about 10 minutes of, but I feel it's important to speak about it. I tried to watch the newest Nightmare on Elm Street. Didn't go well. Didn't make it. Didn't have the fortitude. 100% they used the diner from Riverdale, or Riverdale uses the diner from Nightmare on Elm Street, which is a weird crossover. And that's the only point I have to make about the movie.
That is a weird crossover. How does Riverdale keep ending up in our podcast just over and over again?
I'm pretty sure we're the TV show and Riverdale's real life. I don't know. I don't know what else the answer could possibly be. Also,
come on.
Are all teenagers in movies 30, or is it just the new Nightmare on Elm Street in particular?
I think what it is that it's just hard to hire good teenage actors. So they end up hiring younger looking, if they can get them, younger looking people in their mid-20s to 30s who can maybe pass if the lighting's right. Do you know what I mean?
Don't the thing that's really baffling to me is like when I was young, man, I thought girls in high school were going to be like hot 20 somethings.
Because of movies, right?
Because of movies. I was like, in middle school, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I'm in high school and Jessica Alba is in my class, Did she play a high schooler? I don't know.
Probably. Who knows?
Deep Blue?
She did in Barely Lethal, right?
Well, a former child.
Former child,
That's
Jessica
a great way
Alba.
to describe every adult character in any movie. So, in this movie, the scientist guy plays a former child who... the other movie I watched, I saw Gretel and Hansel. I saw it.
We kind of thought that one looked cool, didn't we?
Yeah.
We publicly said that looked like a cool movie.
Oh, we were wrong.
Oh,
it was so bad. It was I kind of expected it to be like a horror twist on Hansel and Gretel, but it was just Hansel and Gretel. But Gretel is also a witch.
Oh,
and other witch is grooming her, but then other witch turns into this unbelievable babe. I gotta find out who that actress is.
Hey yo,
she is, and she has cool like pagan tattoos all down her arm, and she almost looks like a prettier Liv Tyler with a better nose.
That's so specific.
What?
Liv Tyler's beautiful.
Yeah, but with a better nose.
Yeah, that's pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so is Liv Tyler, because she could spear you with her nose. Not that it's big, God. But it's pointy.
It's quite pointed.
Yeah,
deadly vicious. Sharp.
A lot of nose jokes coming from the Jewish kid. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You said it.
What about you? What did you see this week?
So I didn't finish it. But which is kind of normal. I tend to fall asleep when I watch movies. This one would have kept me up, so I had to turn it off because it was already too late. But this movie's on Shudder right now. It was just put on Shudder. It's called Like Me. And basically it's about this girl who commits all these crimes, but live streams them, which sounds like a really boring concept, but it's actually really, really well shot. And has some pretty creative sequences in it. That really make it a lot more interesting. So I recommend Like Me. I don't know the name of the actress in it, but pretty cool. It was small time, except there's this really cringy guy who's supposed to be like internet, public facing dude who denounces her, committing crimes on live streams. And but it's he's really cringy, and I don't think anyone would take him seriously. And you would know exactly what I mean when you saw him. You'd be like, "Oh, that's the guy who got laughed off of this image board." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Like Me, pretty cool, except for that one guy. Everything else is really good. That character is just poorly written and doesn't make any sense and wouldn't exist, and no one would take him seriously. But that's that.
Pretty classic stuff. I do also want to say that Gretel and Hansel featured one of the most nauseating shots. I don't know how to describe it.
There's an Academy Award for that, right?
Yeah.
And the winner for most nauseating shot.
Gretel and Hansel. No, it's this walking shot. They do it once, and it is. Okay.
It's a walking shot.
It's a walking shot. So it's Gretel and Hansel are walking and the camera's on them and the guy. It's okay. So it's like if someone with vertigo was holding a camera and walking backwards. Is how I would describe how because it's not because it doesn't have that smooth human nature. I take that back. It's not someone with vertigo. It is the world's first Japanese filming robot, and it's got a lot of kinks in it, and it's not working so well, and the knees don't really work. That's kind of how it feels. Where it's jumping around. I'm like, this is vile. They only
but it
do
got
it for
the job because of equal opportunity. Because robots have rights now, and
and
legally has to be the film or filming the movie.
Yeah, it was insane though, and it was one of the first shots of the movie. They never did it again. God, that movie looked like it was going to be so cool. They had cool demonic geometry and cool costuming, and then it was just burp.
Yeah, I mean the trailer made it look like it was going to be a legitimate horror movie. So
no, it wasn't even jump scary.
Yeah, well That doesn't always necessarily mean that it's not scary.
No, I mean, they didn't even try that level of horror.
Oh, yeah. You know, like a movie like The Babadook doesn't have any like crazy jump scares in it, you know, like there are some here and there, but it's not like it's relying on, you know, a jump cut and like a loud noise to make you jump. It's more
with
about
a very
the atmosphere.
obvious like
build up in the
soundtrack that then cuts off, and then you're like, oh, here it comes, and then
or
you react to it anyway.
Yeah, or like the scene where like the girl like will open the door and then she'll walk into a totally dark room. Then suddenly it's handy cam from someone in the room and she's like, hello? And there's just no music. You know that scene? That's in every horror movie.
God damn it.
Yeah. So that's a jump scare that is just cliched, overdone. Babadook does a good job by avoiding that. So does The Witch.
The Witch is psychological more so, though.
Yeah, I think so too. But it still like rides on that same kind of like trying to be scary or unsettling without just like jumping out at you. You know,
that's like another. Like I always am like, oh, it's the golden age of horror. My parents are gonna like some of these movies.
Oh yeah. I agree completely.
I keep trying to do that. I told my dad, hey, you gotta watch Hereditary. He's like, I like The Shining better. And I'm like, well, yeah, me too.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't, though.
That's not my point. And he's like, yeah, The Shining was better. I'm like, what? It's still good. Shut up.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah. Did you ever see It Follows? Because that's a good one.
The STD one?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen that and you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen to the next second or two. Just skip ahead like 30 seconds. But yeah, there's the shot where you know, they're all in like the girl's room and then they open the door because the thing's out there and the really tall man like leans down. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that shot is perfect. That is like the scariest thing ever. And it's like, dude, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. But like, that's like the scariest thing ever. And it's not just a stupid loud jump scare. And that I think sums up the way 2010's horror has been so like good, you know?
Yeah, I heard his follow-up, Under the Silver Lake's really good, and I still have to watch it.
I haven't seen that yet either. I didn't know that was him, actually.
Yeah, same guy. The other thing I wanted to say was The Invisible Man actually looks kind of good.
They're making an Invisible Man?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, the plot's a little different. It's like a lady escapes an abusive... Oh, there are two movies that I saw trailers for that look kind of cool. So there's like a lady who had an abusive ex who commits suicide, and then she's being terrorized, and it turns out he's a super science. He's like Dr. Doom, and he turned himself invisible to terrorize her.
Very cool.
Like he's like yeah, in his will, you get $5 million if you can prove you're sane, and then like he's just fucking that up by being an invisible man. Looks fucking sweet. The other one, I forget the name. It kind of looks cool. I don't know. It's like the trailer features like this lady who's like, oh, she's so drunk, and then like a guy takes her home because she's so drunk and she can't stand up on her own, and then he like tries to rape her, and then she's like, I'm not drunk, bitch. And
I'm invisible.
But like, yeah, she just like does that to people in the movie. Whoa. And I'm like, looks kind of cool. I hope she kills them, because that would be like a cool like dark serial killer anti-hero thing. Probably hero. If they're gonna rape her, probably hero. But it looks kind of good. I forget what it's called, but it looks interesting. I'm not sure. I'll wait till the first reviews are out before I decide whether or not I'm gonna see it.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, we got some stuff coming up, man. It's almost springtime.
Oh, Jesus.
You know? February, we're like warming into the springtime. March, it's just going to be nonstop. So get ready for it. Everyone buckle in, because it's almost summer movie season. And you know what that means.
7 Marvel films, 1 DC film.
And Sonic.
The Ham Hog. Or what was it?
Yeah, the Ham Hog? Sonic the Ham Hog. That's like his cousin who sucks.
Do you think Sonic's like? Do you think they're gonna redesign him to be hot?
Like cats. They're going like for the cat. They're going for the cats thing.
The reverse cats. It's like, why do these cats have tits?
Market. Why does Sonic have tits?
And so many teeth.
Yeah. They're trying to hit that sweet cat's niche.
Why did they give Sonic dick sucking lips? Did they bimboify Sonic? Like,
the community loves it. They're like,
course,
yeah,
they're
standing
sick
ovation.
Fucks. They love Sonic. Like they're the kids who like were like trying to be rebellious and have 30 40 years later still been like, no, Sonic's the superior franchise to insert Nintendo thing.
It's really funny. Like the Sonic video games haven't even been good for like 20 years. Like it's been a really long time. So like that franchise, it baffles me how it still exists. There were like 2 good Sonic games. And then everything else following has just been really bad. Ever since they made them 3D, they were crap. And it's just been like that ever since. So, I don't know. Somebody likes it out there.
We need to start putting them in fighting games. Next Mortal Kombat character, anyone? Sonic?
He's in Super Smash Brothers.
What?
Yeah. He's been in Super Smash Brothers. He's like for the past couple iterations.
It's insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. It's definitely wild. But yeah, man. Yeah, Sonic sucks. The movie's going to be crap. I can't wait. We're going to watch it and just laugh at it. I hope it's not just like exhausting bad, you know?
Yeah. Well, should we announce it? We're getting a guest for that episode.
Oh, we are. That's next week, too. Who's the guest?
It's not next week. It's the week after.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that. Whatever.
The
week after next.
It's Spencer, because I really value his opinions on Sonic.
I think it's going to be fun. Spencer's always fun to have on the show. It's going to be good. We're going to be laughing at it. It's going to be fun to point fingers at Sonic.
He's got good observational humor skills. Exactly. He definitely notices things. For example, how sweaty Mark Hamill is.
It's going to be great. It's going to be really good.
Something I've always known but never noticed.
Yeah. It's just it was always just like in the back of your mind. You're like, that's a sweaty dude. That's a sweaty man.
He's a sweaty dude. I think Daniel Radcliffe's the next to go down that route.
The sweaty route? You might be right. He's up on Discord right now.
I just see his face.
He's like, whoa!
Going guns akimbo, dog.
Yeah, I can't wait for that movie. It looks fucking awesome. I hope it's good, you know? But, yeah. So Spencer's going to be on. We're going to talk about Sonic. I'm really excited to hear the goofs that we're going to get with Spencer. Like, it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a perfect one because everybody's been memeing on it for like a year. And it's like it's finally happening.
It's been memed on longer than Cats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really has. And Cats was like went through the meme circuit, dude.
Oh, so man.
This one's down too. And they redesigned things. Like the response was so bad that they redesigned everything in Sonic. Like, dude, it's gonna be garbage.
Like the thing is though, Cats wasn't so much photo memed. It was just memed in popular culture and just discussions.
Oh yeah.
Sonic has like a visual element where people can look at it. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a different kind of terrible. I think where Cats wasn't like, I don't know. We ended up both agreeing like Cats was really as bad as everyone's saying. It was definitely crap and we were exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah.
I think that this has a chance. Like it's slim, but it's just right there that this movie that Sonic could be so bad that we actually end up enjoying it.
Yeah, like it potentially could be a good bad movie. It's 100% on the table.
Yeah. Or it could just be like, I think what we're going to get is a totally middling, just like lackluster experience. And we're going to end up being like we're going to end up feeling like it was a waste, but we're all pretty witty, smart people. So we're still going to be able to laugh at how crap it is. At least we'll get that, you know, like we're definitely going to have that. But yeah, man, Sonic, it's happening. It's finally happening.
Finally.
So, but yeah, and then and next week we're watching Harley Quinn as well, which I'm also not excited about.
Dress up as Harley Quinn.
No, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to dress up as anything. I want to walk to the movies in my big hoodie sweatshirt and hide in the dark while I watch that movie. And
that's
then
the
leave.
only reason why you want me to move out to Austin.
Oh my God! Yes, you are 100% right now. I'm kidding. It's gonna be good to have you here, just in a ton of ways. But I also won't have to go to movies on my own anymore, so that's definitely good. But yeah, man. So we got February lined up. What else? What else did we talk about? I know we always wonder this every episode.
We got to get into the budget breakdown. Shit's getting real now.
We're breaking it down. The budget.
All right, I got to get my sexy lady voice on. One sec.
Oh no. You gotta put it on.
I still have human feelings.
This is the budget breakdown.
Ooh, I remember that.
I still have human feelings.
That was the hot chick, as you can tell from the voice. So
Hot cephalopod chick.
Dagon had a budget of 4 million euros.
Oh, weird.
And a worldwide gross of 145K. There's no information on it, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Shadow over Innsmouth as like a piece, which is the basis of this story.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
It was the only full-length book that was released during Lovecraft's lifetime, and it is directly inspired by the fact that like both of H.P. Lovecraft's parents died in like mental institutions, and the story is supposed to be about like concern about your heritage. It's the original Hereditary. Let's call it that. It's the original Hereditary. The story originally is about a guy who like searches for information about his parents and like goes to a creepy town. It's a pretty well-grossing book at this point. Probably one of his more popular. It's been adapted a ton of times.
Yeah.
Originally, it was done by Andres Cayacelo from Colombia. He sold it to Roger Corman in 1975, and it was shot and never released. There was a Japanese version in the television show Insumus wo Okage. Cool. 2007 Cthulhu is based on Shadow over Innsmouth, which is a weird one.
Very cool.
The 2014 music video by a band we both know, Carpenter Brut, called Escape from the Midwich Valley, is based on Shadow over Innsmouth. A lot of people think that The Legend of Old Greg is a comedic variant on the Shadow over Innsmouth.
Okay, I could see that.
Yep. The Old Hunters DLC for the video game Bloodborne features heavily like Hamlets that kind of represent.
It's very Lovecraftian horror in that game.
Very Lovecraftian horror. Mm-hmm. Far Harbor expansion of Fallout 4. There was a quest in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion called The Shadow over Hackdirt, which kind of follows the general plot.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. There was
in Darkest Dungeon. Sorry, I'm just on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that's where I'm pulling it from. Yeah,
Darkest that game Dungeon is really good. I have that on the Switch. That's a really fun game. And there is one part of the part of the dungeon is that, or one of the zones you can fight through is just like a seaside dilapidated wet town with fishmen. So definitely part of it. That game's real good.
Magic the Gathering's Innistrad and Shadows over Innistrad block are. Have a lot of references.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Innistrad was a cool block, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
What year?
Lots of influence everywhere, everywhere.
This is 2012. Okay, so I was still playing, so I probably have some Innistrad.
Oh yeah, that's like right when I got back into Magic the Gathering. Was right in Innistrad. And that was a really, really good set. They've actually like re-released it since, but very cool. They did like a re-release. You know how like every like 6 or 7 years Wizards will go back to a block.
Yeah.
So
Just redo it.
supposedly they're doing it again, which could be good. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, dude, that's pretty
Totally
exciting.
not a cash grab. Totally not.
100% a cash grab.
100%.
But yeah, like that's very cool. Like the idea is, so I wanted to ask you, since we don't really have a lot to talk about the budget here, but we can get into, some other stuff here. Is this story the origin of Cthulhu, or was there like, did that exist outside of this and you just see like little snippets of Cthulhu in this?
So Cthulhu's not in Shadows over Innsmouth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about Dagon. Dagon is like he's based on a Sumerian god by the same name. Okay. Essentially, like the people over Innsmouth, or the people of Innsmouth, strike a deal with Dagon, and what they get is plentiful fish, and they get like weird gold. So it's kind of weird why that was involved. I don't fucking know why. Dagon's first referenced in like a short story in like quotations. It's like 3 paragraphs long, and it was done in 1917. So like the whole thing with H.P. Lovecraft and his mythos is very little of it actually features any screen time, as it were. Yeah. Shadow over Innsmouth, or not Shadow over Innsmouth, Call of Cthulhu is the one that features Cthulhu heavily, even though that's not actually the pronunciation. I'll talk about that later in the cons.
Okay. Is it Cthulhu?
It's Cthulhu.
Oh, really?
Like, so I'll just get into this now. Like, they have this Cthulhu Fathagan, but the way, like, we have letters between August Derleth and H.P. Lovecraft where he says this is like a transliteration. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like disgusting, whatever.
Because it's spoken by inhuman creatures that don't have the same vocal cords.
Exactly, and so it's like you hear this in your dreams or whatever. It's a lot more dream stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cthulhu's not really featured in Dagon. He's mentioned briefly, but isn't actually like a part of it in this way.
Gotcha.
You don't even see Dagon.
Like, is Dagon related to Cthulhu?
So they're part of a god pantheon. And the god pantheon for the Cthulhu mythos is weird because it's like a bunch of indifferent gods. So there's a whole idea that there are like that nightmares show you these creatures, but they do actually exist, but they don't actually care about your existence. They're kind of indifferent to you.
Interesting.
Like the big one is so Dagon is, I believe, an elder god, and Cthulhu is a great old one. And the difference between those is kind of
like
weird.
It sounds kind of vague. It seems like they're just like different. They're not really related. They're right.
No. Dagon's an outer god, so there are great old ones. There are outer gods. There are elder gods, and yeah.
Cool.
It's a nightmare. But the whole thing is they're usually pretty indifferent. The great old ones. They don't care about your existence. Like, one of my favorite ones is Azathoth. Azathoth is also known as the Crawling Chaos, and his whole backstory is we're all his dream. We're all Azathoth's dream, and if Azathoth ever wakes up, everyone dies. Pretty cool.
Interesting. I like that a lot. That's very cool. Like very interesting. I just Googled it. There's a whole Wikipedia with just numerous.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
A multitude. Very cool. I really like that. We talked a little bit about this in Color Out of Space, about like the SCP Foundation and how it's kind of just an extension of Lovecraftian cosmic horror. A lot of everything there draws huge inspiration from Lovecraft and his works with cosmic horror, and I think it's very interesting. It's very like unique, and I didn't know that there was such a structured lore to all of this.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how it was constructed, and I frankly haven't gotten into a lot of the stuff that goes beyond the scope of H.P. Lovecraft's works.
Gotcha.
Because like a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's work will be like, here's a couple sentences on this, here's a couple sentences on that, and like Lovecraft has this almost like biblical element to him where people interpret what, like, you know, these 3 sentences about Shub-Niggurath, like, oh, we can extrapolate that and we could write a book about it. Like Hastur, the King in Yellow, he's considered like a huge Lovecraftian, you know, entity, but he was not really written about by Lovecraft. It was actually adapted by other writers. So the extended Cthulhu mythos, as it's called, is written by a bunch of different authors from varying time frames, you know, from modern to not too long after the death of Mr. Lovecraft.
Interesting.
So it's really weird. So I totally get where it's the SCP Foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like really almost exactly that. You know, they're just expanding upon these kinds of ideas. Like there's a root idea. It seems like Lovecraft like would toss one of these things out there about a character, and then, like you said, some author would grab it and just expand on it. And it looks like just so many people have done this over the years that it kind of built this, like, you know, this mythos and this pantheon that was probably way outside the scope of what Lovecraft ever intended. But it's definitely interesting. I like that it's very loosely constructed and that it's crowdsourced, like the SCP Foundation. It's almost the exact same kind of idea.
Shub-Niggurath was a bad example, because now I'm remembering that he was in a bunch of stories. But that's not the point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The general thing.
Yeah.
Like H.P. Lovecraft is really interesting as like a study on writing, because number one, it's just so non-traditionalist. And I just really love the idea of like horrors that are indifferent to you. They're not terrorizing you. Their existence is what terrorizes you. Yeah.
It's like they exist and they will continue to exist and will go on beyond you or the scope of your life or anything you could ever possibly understand. Yeah. I like that a lot. That makes it so much more terrifying. You know, we talked about this in Color Out of Space too. It's the same kind of idea. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, this is something that has existed for so long and just doesn't care and will just absorb anything, because it's just like an ant. It's like if you look at an anthill, it's the same thing. An ant will never understand a podcast. It's, you know,
we're the first podcast for
ants. We should have saved that one.
God damn it.
Yeah. Could have saved that for like Ant-Man or something. But or Zoolander 3. The only podcast. Ooh. Never mind. Anyway. But
Zoolander 3.
Yeah. Should we make Zoolander 3?
You keep wanting to pitch these movies where we have to get actual actors. It's not going to happen.
Oh no, it's going to be a bad thing made by us.
Cool.
We'll just cast like cheapo actors.
Yeah, it's me in a wig, and I'm Derek Zoolander.
That sounds great. Let's shoot it. It'd be terrible. The unlicensed Zoolander 3.
Just make unlicensed sequels.
Oh, that sounds so bad. And get like things deliberately wrong.
Yeah,
like,
just
get continuity errors.
Continuity errors, but then just like messing up lore from movies no one really cares about. like Lion King 2 3/4. But now Simba's a tiger. Like just
yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah, that sounds great. We're gonna do it. We're making a movie, guys. We've come up with some like legitimately good ideas, but let's lay that to rest. We should do like a whole episode where we talk about our movie ideas at some point, because that could be kind of interesting. We've had some, some fun stuff. But so we're about halfway through here. Do you want to take a quick break and then we can get into our expectations, pros and cons?
Sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds good, guys. We'll be back in just a little bit.
How do you think the fish people fuck in this movie? Sorry.
Who knows? You saw The Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, there were a lot of them. They had to have been doing something.
Yeah,
you think they lay... Oh, dude, they probably lay eggs.
I mean, I lay eggs, dude.
I don't know if this is gonna work. This podcast is gonna work out, man. Oh, shit.
Just me, first day, living together. Like, hey, man, you want some eggs? And you'll just go pause for a second.
You don't tell me?
You'll go, wait, is this... Are these... No, dude. Why would I give you my eggs?
I lay eggs. Yeah.
I just mix them into the carton.
Or you like walk in and you're like, all right, man, where can I lay my eggs? And I think you're just going to like set them down like you brought some with you. But that's not it.
Thought that was an idiom for just get comfy. Like, yeah.
That's a good one. Hey, man, where can I lay my eggs? Like, where can I chill out? Like, lay down on the couch. It's like the
worst high school stoner in a movie.
Yo, man, where can I lay my eggs? Right?
God damn it.
Oh, great. Cool. That was weird. Anyway, here we are. We're back. We're talking about Dagon. Like, for real now. I know we talked about a lot of nothing for a little bit, but that's what we do. We're in the beef, the meat, the juicy tenderloin of the episode here, right?
The filet mignon.
Exactly. The New York strip.
The tomahawk ribeye.
Ooh. That's cool. The T-bone. The porterhouse. The beef of the episode, we're here.
Are we not just listing off every part of the cow?
We're not.
The hanger steak of
the rump roast of the
top
podcast.
Round, just the worst cut of meat.
It's funny. This movie's about fish too, so
yeah.
We should be talking about like salmon. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah. So we like to start with our reviews by talking about our expectations going into the movie. And then we do pros, cons, and then we have a little segment at the end where we talk 5 words about the movie, things that we think describe it, and we give it a rating and whether or not you should seek it out to watch. But Ash, what were your expectations going into Dagon?
Well, I watched it twice in a week, Avery, and I just watched it before we announced our picks. Thanks a lot for that.
Sorry.
When I went into this movie, it was because I had not seen it in a while. I had just seen Color Out of Space. I was talking to Ryan, our friend. That's his full name, Ryan, our friend. And
he's got a lot of friends.
You hadn't seen it yet, and I needed to talk with someone about it. And he said, I like Dagon more. I was like, I don't remember it being that good. So I watched it again with the complete intent to disagree.
How did I know? How did I know?
Like, listen, I'm confident enough that a better Lovecraft movie than Color Out of Space wasn't just going to slip through the cracks for me. Yeah. Pretty confident on that one.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah. So those were my expectations. I came in mad. You say never go to sleep mad, never watch a movie for the podcast mad. Well, I was mad both times.
Well,
first time
did it.
To prove someone wrong, second time because of you, Avery.
Because I decided to make you watch it again.
What about you?
So it's really interesting. I had seen this movie before, like a very long time ago, and on the Sci-Fi Channel. And I wondered, because I saw it and I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. It was weird. It was about fish people. I was like, I have no idea what this is about. And then a couple years after
it's about
that,
fish people.
Yeah, a couple years after that, somebody lent me a book, the anthology series or storybook, The Shadows over Innsmouth, which is like a whole bunch of short stories written by different authors that pertain to Innsmouth or the Dagon story. I never read the book, but I did like think like, I wonder if this is related to that really weird fish people movie that I happened across on Sci-Fi. Fast forward 15 years, and it turns out I was right about everything. It turns out that actually was the movie that was based on The Shadow over Innsmouth, and that short story book was also very much related to that. It was strange watching this and having everything come back. My expectations weren't very high. I literally saw this on the Sci-Fi Channel. So yeah. So it's we make the joke of it looking like a sci-fi original movie all the time. Yeah, this very much felt like one. So, but I expected to at least be mildly entertained. We had just watched Color Out of Space, and like big cosmic horror is kind of fun. So why not, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, yeah, interesting. We were in very different spots, huh? You were mad. I was awestruck. Yes. But yeah, so let's keep this going. Let's propel this forward. Yeah. Let's slide right into the prose section here. Ash, I really want you to start.
Oh geez.
I know.
Oh geez.
You got something.
I know I do. Somewhere deep inside, I have something. Hotel looked real shit. That was good.
That set was kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that set was fine.
Yeah, yeah. So why not?
Yeah, the guy's face getting ripped off was fine.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I wanted to bring that up too, because I actually kind of liked that. And it was just so ridiculous. Like, was that actually in the original story? It just seems like they added it in. They just needed something that was kind of a horror movie thing.
This whole thing was just trying to make it a horror movie. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, man. And like, I like how earlier in the movie you see him like running through like the streets. And he like runs into a building and there's just like skins hanging, and he sees like one of his friends. It's so morbid. He was just like, oh, Hank, or whatever his name was.
Hey,
like yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, no. Finish your thought.
I was gonna say it's just so like, it's like such a stupid horror movie trope. Like, yeah, like your friend that disappears. You know, you find his skin. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really all I got on that.
Yeah, another positive. There's one scene where the lead actor is trying to get into a car and someone comes to attack him and he falls before they hit him, and that is great.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly. Yeah.
It wasn't that dark of a shot.
Yeah. Like, the action wasn't very well choreographed at all, but we'll talk about all of that. I liked the Spanish guy who seemed to be incapable of speaking any language.
Is that Ezekiel?
I don't know what his name is. I don't know what any of the names of any of the characters are, but I do know how they look. And he was the guy who like told them the story of the town, right? And I liked that segment a lot because it was expositional, but it was just the way it was shot and how it was like you couldn't hear anything they were saying, but they had this like dark music playing over top of it. Some of the only music in the entire movie. Yeah. I thought that was a better way of doing what's normally pretty exhausting exposition. Although how this guy was living in that town didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's based on a character from Shadow over Innsmouth. I think his name is like, it sounds like Haddock. I don't remember exactly what it is.
It's Hagrid.
It's
Hagrid. That's his roots.
It's not. Because like in the story, like the whole thing is like a family, the Marsh family, like the guy, his father, his children, like keep fucking deep ones and making hybrid offspring.
Yikes!
And it's awesome.
Is awesome the word for that?
Yeah.
It was totally awesome.
Wait, I gotta find the name of the fish person he fucked. Oh yeah, it was okay. Here it is. It's Pithilial.
Oh, that's kind of a sexy sounding name.
Pithilial.
Some hot Ichthian babes.
Yeah, just some. Well,
that's a pro.
Yeah, that's a pro.
All I'm gonna say is that the woman who was playing the tentacle girl was definitely kind of hot until those CG tentacles came out, and that's a pro right there.
Yeah, what did they remind me of? They reminded me of something. Maybe it was the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, very much. It was like the Dungeons and Dragons movie. That the CG was equally as bad. Like it was like there's no way the people watching the movie would have like seen that and been like, yeah, this looks good. They were like, oh, I guess it works. You know?
I'm trying to think what else came out in 2001.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out that year. And honestly, the CG is pretty bad in that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just had a much better budget, so they were able to the practical effects kind of balanced it out.
Fellowship came out.
That is an example of a movie that came out that year with a lot of CGI, or not like a huge amount, but like a good amount of CGI that actually still looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, and Shrek.
Yeah, man, Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek. You ever heard of it?
Oh, I've heard of it. Somebody once told me about Shrek.
Somebody.
But yeah, so
we gotta get. What other pros do you have, man? I am racking my brain.
I really liked when they cut the guy's face off.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And he starts, the main character, the dweeby nerd guy who our lead protagonist is, starts saying like the Lord's Prayer or something like that's going to stop them as they're just slowly cutting this guy's face off. It was pretty brutal for what is probably a TV movie. Like that was kind of an awesome scene. So then like the whole prop looked like cheesy, but at least interesting and fun. So I got to give him that. I gotta give him that at least. That was a cool scene. Yeah. Although they totally just murdered our mumbling like friend off. Hagrid or whatever his name was.
Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like helping him out through the whole time. And like, why did they kill him then? Like, how did that guy live in that town? Why was he there? You know? Oh well. We'll probably never know because he's dead now.
In the stories, it was like the people who weren't Ichthian people were like pushed out, but like there were still people who lived there that were normal. It was just, by the way, the girl in the movie, I just want to let you know her name is Macarena Gomez.
Damn! Yo, Macarena Gomez. Yo, that is such a good noise. I'm going to drop the Macarena song in there. It's going to be like bum, 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 bum.
Hey, Macarena Gomez.
Hi. Macarena Gomez. God damn. Yo, that is a great name. When they were naming her, they were just like, she's born to be a star. Está muerto. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Está miércoles. It's like Tuesday or something.
What's wrong with you? God damn it.
Yep. Hell yeah. Oh, that totally derailed me. That's a great name. That's like a pro for this movie. That Macarena Gomez. Damn. Hell yeah. Dude, she's thick too. She's one of those tentacle babes.
Yeah. Yo, those tentacles dummy thick.
Yo, she's one of them Ichthian girls.
Yo, she double thick. I just think that's such a funny thing to say. Yo, she double wide. She got 2 tentacles, but only got like sometimes.
8 tentacles, dude. Go talk to her. She's like,
yeah. You wanna?
All right, yeah. Let's move on to our cons because I think we've given an accurate description of what this movie is.
Yeah, there are a lot of
throwaway?
issues.
Are we just throwing this one to the wind?
Yeah, it's not
All right,
great.
Cool. All right, yeah. Let's hit Well, you know what? Okay, so before we totally move on to the cons, was this at least a somewhat accurate iteration of Shadow over Innsmouth made to film? So it wasn't even close to the story, or are you just saying that?
It's not. So number one, this is in Spain. Part of what makes Shadow over Innsmouth cool is the guy's like researching his background, and he just finds like a small New England town.
Okay.
And
so they're like research, or it's just one guy and he's a researcher.
And he chooses to go there, and he gets all these sinister signs that he's not supposed to go there, and he goes there anyway. It's very cinematic. It's very movie-like. It didn't need to be changed.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame.
And on top of that, I think that like they just did a lot of like there's no face peeling. There's no sacrificing to Dagon. He just slowly starts to turn into one, and it's all framed around like, you know, in 1941 they did a FBI raid of the town of Innsmouth, Massachusetts because I made them. And it's like, you know, it's kind of framed in this really weird way, and it's all about, you know, hereditary backgrounds, and this is like it kind of does that. But she's just like, you're my brother, and we will fuck
it's all
now.
Thrown in. Yeah, it's all thrown in at the end, and it didn't really make any sense. I couldn't really understand any of it. I was just like, whatever, this is probably important. I don't care.
Yeah,
and
I just wasn't. I don't think that like the cool things about it, like nothing about it was that cosmic horror.
No, not at all. It really was just like a horror movie about people who go to a town and then the fish people kill them, and then like somehow tangentially linked to like, you know, Dagon, somehow they just throw it in at the end, like we're all these fish people for this god man. Yeah, it's just like kind of just it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, they didn't
I will say
a cool name because the cult has a cool name in the book. It's called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Beautiful.
So esoteric too.
Yeah, so self-aware.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like they knew what they were. No, but I did like, before we really fully go full cons, I like when his girlfriend was like hanging by chains above the well, and then like the crab monster, the bad CG monster, grabs her and like pulls her down, and then the camera like slowly pans up and you just see her like cut off arms still hanging.
That was good. That was good.
It was just, they were like bad props. He was like, no. Oh. Oh, that was such a good shot. It's so
such
stupid.
A good shot. So dumb.
Oh yeah, totally dumb. I'm sure that part was definitely captured in H.P. Lovecraft's timeless
lack
telling.
of scene setting.
Yeah, I'm sure that was part of the book, a big part of the book.
A huge part. It's mostly about detached arms. God damn it.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's right.
Let's con up this movie. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit it with some cons. I want you to start again because I know you have a ton.
Yeah, so I know I'm being like an H.P. Lovecraft asshole, but watching them like talk about sacrificing the Dagon and then going yeah Cthulhu Fhtagn in the movie,
make sense.
It's like going like, we have to follow the sacraments of Jesus Christ. Praise be Vishnu. Like, it makes no sense. It was so weird. And the creature that came and ate him, they had an opportunity to like make it look like something. And like,
but it just looked like nothing, didn't it?
Yeah. And this is what this guy does. He does like weird kind of campy adaptations of H.P. Lovecraft movies. Like a lot.
That's what Reanimator was kind of like.
Yeah, he also did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah. Like, Reanimator's a good movie. It's like goofy and campy. It's less like self-serious than this movie was.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, like Reanimator's like a fun movie in a way. It's like ridiculous. It's like a runaway mad scientist who tries to fix his problems by making them worse. And like, that's the whole movie there. But this movie like kind of just was really flat and generic and was just about people going to a town with fish people.
And yeah.
You know?
Also, why did that guy, if I was that guy and some lady threw my my laptop into the water, she's taking a swim.
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah, like, go get my laptop. Like, that's not okay. Yeah. You don't do that.
Like, what the hell?
No one had human reactions to things.
Yeah.
Even the humans.
Yeah. It didn't really make sense. You know, I want to say this because the whole middle part of this movie just felt like one long musicless scene. When he's just like, after he like gets into the hotel and the hotel's all quirky and weird and wet, and then from that point up until like basically the third act when they're in like the little shack and the girl stabs herself, like that is all just one long thing with no music. And it's like it was almost like stifling. It was very uncomfortable to watch because all of the sound effects, and we talked about this a little bit, are really heightened and cheesy and not very good sounding.
Oh, and I actually kind of liked the sound effects.
I kind of did too because they were cheesy, but I didn't take it seriously.
No, God,
you know what I mean? Yeah, like, and not as seriously as they wanted you to take it. And like, I like that the sound effects were heightened. And once you told me that this was a Spanish film that was probably partially translated, things started to click into place for me. I realized that what I was seeing, some lines were dubbed. There were scenes where an actor would or an actor wouldn't be speaking at all and a line would come out. Specifically the woman who stabbed herself did that a couple times. And I think it's because this movie is partially translated from Spanish. And so they translated certain parts into English. And because of that, like to like fare better in an American movie theater. Otherwise people aren't going to go see it.
It was only released on DVD.
So interesting.
Yeah, but it was like it's Galician, which is like the northwest corner of Spain.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because like all the regions of Spain have their own dialects, so it wasn't like pure Spanish either.
So I just noticed that like there was definitely some times when things looked really ADR. Mm-hmm. And I think it's partially because they translated, and I think it's sometimes like I think their audio was just bad, and so they just ADR'd some of the people's lines, and it was really interesting because like everything seemed to be synced pretty well except for select few lines, and I watch everything with headphones on, so I could hear the clear difference between the ADR lines and like somebody that's actually speaking in the scene, you know, that's actually in camera. And it was a very weird experience. And all of those sound effects, I swear to God, half of them are in World of Warcraft. Like they are like stock sound effects, and it was hilarious.
Balanash Balanore.
Yeah, exactly. Like I almost expected that shit. But like, dude, there was like the stereotypical door closing creak and like stereotypical like the fire scene when he lights himself on fire and it's like, you know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean.
Just all that kind of shit that's just like so used over and over again. And I think the reason they didn't have music is because when they translated it, they probably had to cut all of the audio out and then they ADR'd over top of it and added these sound effects way after the fact. And or it was just a cheap movie, so they just didn't do a good job ADRing the sounds. One of the two.
Either way, they're both good. Whatchamacallits? Theories.
You got it.
There we go.
Yeah, it seems like this movie was pretty cheap, so it's totally possible that they just, you know, ADR'd it real quick to make a release date or something like that. Or it was also really early 2000s, so probably the technology to digitally add sound effects in wasn't quite as advanced as it is nowadays. People probably weren't as good at it, or the people were probably good at it, but it was probably really expensive to do that kind of thing. So they just like did it with Windows Movie Maker or something. You know, so there's a whole bunch of theories out there, but I think it's partially because it's translated partially and also partially because they added some goofy ass sound effects in, because why not? You know, so there you go. Big con was the audio in this movie. Let me just say that.
Oh yeah.
But there you go.
For me, one of the biggest cons of this movie is that H.P. Lovecraft fans seem to like it, and I'm not saying they're stupid. I might be, but I'm not. I think that this is indicative that people rank this among the top H.P. Lovecraft movies of like a really big problem with like cosmic horror film in general and the state of it. That this is still a movie that's being talked about 19 years later. And for me, that's kind of what this represents. It represents the very essence of H.P. Lovecraft is unadaptable, or at least that's what I thought before Color Out of Space. And so that's a bummer. And that's like, it's not directly this movie's fault. It is just something that this movie represents to me when I watch it, which is not enjoyable for me.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you might be on the right track there. I think the reason people probably rank this up as one of the top H.P. Lovecraft movies is probably because most H.P. Lovecraft movies aren't very good. So they're probably generally just like not a lot of interest, not a big budget. So when something did finally come along that was at least partially competent, people probably thought, like, oh, wow, finally something that's watchable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess it like the standard has been so lowered for these people.
Yeah, which is also totally indicative of what you're saying. It's just like finally Color Out of Space got it right. And hopefully what they're trying to do with that whole like trilogy of H.P. Lovecraft adaptation, they're able to set a precedent that allows it to gather more traction.
Yeah. So go see Color Out of Space. Like it needs the money, it needs the support because it is a unique tone in horror that I only think has only really been also done by The Lighthouse. I think it's another great example of like Lovecraftian horror, but it doesn't directly like quote Lovecraft. I think Lighthouse has the aquatic themes better than this movie.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I really agree. It's yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of my takeaway from this whole movie. Dagon is the same thing. Dagon is just like reminded me like how good Color Out of Space was, and that you should definitely go see Color Out of Space if you have the opportunity to, because it's kind of, I kind of think the reason, Dagons and Dagon type movies got made is probably because there wasn't a lot of interest, because movies like that didn't make a lot of money. And so nobody really cared to adapt it properly. If it made a quick buck, then what the fuck? Who cares? Not that, I mean, like this movie didn't make any money at all, but it's kind of, I think that's part of the problem there. And that's why taking a risk and doing Color Out of Space is like very important, but hopefully we'll get more of that. Dagon just like really just, if it really wasn't that close to the story, then that's unfortunate. And I could kind of see it. Like, I've never read the story itself, but I could kind of see it. It's like this was tried. They tried really hard to play this out as just a very generic horror movie. And probably because they thought it would resonate better with audiences. And maybe it would have. I don't know. If it didn't make money. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that whole thing. Because, like, I get giving things, like, popular applicability. Yeah. But I think that H.P. Lovecraft is someone who is so prolific and has influenced so many different things that he kind of, you don't need to fuck around with it. I think that it's something that works, and you just got to do your best with what he gives you. Yeah. Yeah, you got to look at the time though, man. It was 2001, and like it obviously didn't resonate very well with audiences because it didn't make any money at all. But I think that that's what they were trying to do. They made decisions that they thought would be better in the long term. They thought that it would turn out better than it did, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's why they added like skinning people's faces, because otherwise it's a guy running around from fishmen in this adaptation. So they had to add, gore for it to seem scarier than it was. But it's just kind of held back by all the silliness of everything else and like the pointlessness of everything else. It didn't really have anything else to say, right? Yeah, so. It didn't have anything to say. I think it completely missed the general themes and kind of played them off as an afterthought. I don't know. Yeah, shit. I think you're right. But hell,
Yeah.
what can you do? That's Dagon. I don't know, man. I also watched this twice in a week, so don't worry, because the first time I kind of couldn't really pay attention to it. So I was like, I'm going to watch this again before we record. And on the second watch, it became very, very tiring to me.
Yeah.
Especially halfway through, especially like there's no music at all through like the whole movie. And the music is so important in like setting a tone and carrying the viewer along with the story. Like you cue into the musical stings, and there's a reason that like music is so like funded into movies. It's because it does do a lot for the story on its own, and the fact that this didn't have any was such a weird decision.
It's also useful for building tension, a thing that this movie never really seemed to have.
Never. It just never had any tension.
It was like bad CGI storm, then immediately attacked by fish guys.
Yeah.
There's no like moment where they're realizing that these people are kind of off. It just goes right fucking into it. And I think that it would have done well to have at least, even if they were going to keep the Spain thing, it would have done well to kind of build tension in some capacity, musically or with aesthetic.
Yeah, because it really is just a guy running around in the town. He's like, we got to get out of here. And then he meets a friend, and then like he steals a car. It's just like totally tensionless, this entire movie. You're totally
really
right.
Weird for like a horror movie, not just a Lovecraft movie, but a horror movie. I think it kind of misses the mark in that way.
Yeah,
I don't think it's nearly campy enough.
Yeah, it's not. It's not campy enough. Even when they cut the guy's face off, that was like, even that was tensionless. You know? It's just like, you didn't really fear for the protagonist.
No.
You know he's going to be fine.
I mean, he wasn't fine, but...
Yeah, he did end up lighting himself on fire. But which is just a weird out of nowhere decision.
And somehow he didn't notice his body gills his whole life.
Yeah, this whole time he didn't know he had gills. Which is weird. You'd think you would have like... So that means that he never swam. Like his entire life.
That's why he couldn't get his laptop back. We solved it.
It's true. It would have been like interesting. Like how shitty would it have been if there was like a line earlier in the movie when he was just like, you know, I can't swim. I've never swam in my entire life.
I don't even take baths. I've never
I only take showers. I just bathe in a hose.
Just pour a little droplet on my head and say, that's good. That's why I look so greasy.
Yeah, so like that's the only way that would have like worked. Otherwise, it's like, where the fuck would you have gotten that from? You know, you can't guess it. There's no breadcrumbs to follow. They just throw this shit at you. Oh, and you're my brother. Oh, and we're married. Oh, and I'm a child of Dagon. And then they say Cthulhu for some reason. It's silly. It's
silly.
Stupid.
It's like, come on. Stuart Gordon, you're a fan. Like, what are you doing?
Is Reanimator a Lovecraft story?
Yes, it's based on Herbert West Reanimator, which is about a guy who works with a guy named Herbert West, who is figuring out how to bring someone back to life, and he keeps realizing my serum needs fresher patients, until he's killing them just to bring them back to life. And they're like these horrible creatures that are, it's great.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That movie is fun too.
It is fun. I'm surprised that a movie that much the elder of this movie, the elder god of this movie, is so much better than what he was able to do with this one.
Yeah, Reanimator is like a fun adventure film almost. It's like it has this dark comedy that this movie that Dagon didn't even touch. Like like Reanimator actually has like levity, and like you actually like the character Herbert West. You know what I mean? Like you like him, you want to see more of that character because he's totally nuts, but he's like got a point. So but this, it's just like none of the characters were anything at all, and it's, I don't know, it's just silly. Whatever. Dagon kind of sucked. Sorry, everyone.
No, it's okay. I agree with you. It did kind of suck.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like at the same time, it's like it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, but I kind of knew you'd be disappointed, just because of what you picked it on the impulse of Color Out of Space was great, and I was like, the closest thing you get to Color Out of Space, it's like Annihilation, which is the same story basically.
Yeah, it really is,
and it's based on a book. I can't believe that guy got away with writing that book. And Lighthouse. Those would be, I think, the two best foils to like Lovecraft's themes and cosmic horror and madness. This one doesn't even touch on madness.
Not even at all. This one really just went straight for the clean cut soybean horror movie.
Classic soy horror.
Yeah, dude. This is like a vegan horror movie. It's just like there was nothing.
So you're saying that 210 broccoli florets would have made this movie better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those might be my 5 words. 210 broccoli florets. Oh.
Make better.
All right. Let's move into. What do we do? We're going to move into our final segment here. We're going to talk about 5 words. We're going to talk about a rating and a review. Ash.
Yeah.
Will you launch it off?
Yeah. Lovecraft fans deserve much better. Lovecraft fans, you gotta hold it to a higher standard. You put it out in the world that this is what you want. You want a high quality movie. You can't point to movies like this. You can't. You gotta go, listen, I want The Shining, but with fucking Nyarlathotep. Like, let's go. Let's fucking get this.
Nyarlathotep. You say Nyarlathotep, but I can't even say that.
Nyarlathotep. Yeah.
I always say Nyarlathotep.
It's one of the cool ones. Like, give me but like, I'm just, I'm trying to stay positive because this was really bad, but I know that the future's brighter. I know that we're going to see better stuff coming out. I believe it. I believe in it. I think there is so much room for the type of horror that this should have been. And I'm glad that there's less room for horror like what this is, which is like Gretel and Hansel. This movie gets a 1 out of 10 from me. I just didn't enjoy it. I really had a hard time getting through this a second time. I had a hard time getting through it the first time. I don't recommend it. Go see Color Out of Space.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, it makes sense. We're on a very similar page here. My 5 words are going to be them dummy thick Ichthian girls.
Dummy thick.
Because I don't know what it is, man. No, I don't know. But this, like,
there are videos on the internet for that, man. I don't know what to tell you.
All of the extras in this movie were like portly, ugly men. So except for the one girl, and that was it.
You can't talk about Spaniards that way, man.
Well, like, how would you describe them? That's Spaniards. I mean, like, I just realized what I said.
European culture.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, rich European culture, dude. No, this movie just like it like had all of this interesting stuff that it could have chosen to pull from, and instead they cut the interesting parts out and just went for this soybean, like soy latte, like soy burger.
Oh, this is a pumpkin spice frappuccino of a movie.
It's not. It's just not. It's
the unicorn
soy.
Frappuccino, the one that
like
makes your
soy
poop
chocolate milk. Like it's
kind of sounds good.
like soy, like sugar-free chocolate milk.
Yeah, still sounds fine.
Anyway, this movie just has not a lot going for it.
This is squid ink pasta.
It's like they had so much stuff that they could have done, and then like played it safe, and ended up just being like kind of lame, and that sucks to me a lot because they should have taken a risk. Because why the hell not? The only good stuff about it.
Or they weren't going to make money.
Yeah, it's true. They weren't going to make money anyway. They should have just like gone for something totally off the rocker. Like, why not? But But yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 10 for at least fucking trying. And the stuff that wasn't in the story that they did add in, I did get genuine pleasure out of. Not pleasure, that's gross, but I did enjoy when they cut the guy's face off. That's ridiculous and stupid. And the girl's arms still attached to the chains is just the funniest thing. And that's worth it to me. Don't go watch this movie. Go watch Color Out of Space instead. So you'll enjoy Color Out of Space so much more. This movie sucked.
I like that it's a consensus.
Yeah, this wasn't a good one. So
no, this is not great. Next week we are watching Birds of Prey and no, I need 1 second.
Stop, dude. The title of this movie is an Ichthian horror. Like fuck, it's like a cosmic horror.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
God, I hate that title so much. I hate that they're unironically using Fantabulous in the title. It's so annoying.
I'm pretty confident the title is going to be the best part of the movie. Maybe dude, the costuming.
The costuming will be fine, whatever. Dude, Harley Quinn's just so annoying. Like, this is going to be an annoying movie. But
did I tell you I saw a Vogue article about Margot Robbie's acting process?
Dude, she just shows up. She just is that character. She's like just weird.
Barely can do an American accent. It's depressing.
Yeah, that movie's going to be exhausting. I'm not excited for it. But we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. You guys are going to listen to us talking about it. And that's how this works.
And you're not going to see it. And we're going to have to see it for you.
Yeah, that's the name of the show. Actually, it's not. But
it's for the story. You're listening to For the Story.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our Dagon review. And we will talk to you guys all next week. Goodbye.
Dagon it.